A lot of people say marketing doesn't work, and I'm here to tell you maybe, I don't know, let's diagnose it. Let's figure this out together. Buckle up. We're going to talk about how to look at your marketing campaigns and diagnose them if you think something might be wrong.
The Mammoth Plumber podcast with Tyler Williams on the mic. He's dropping marketing gold, making your business spike.
Okay, so people often come to me and they're like, I don't know what's going on. My marketing's not working. And so this might be clients, this might be non-clients. This is all over. Okay. As a marketer, you just kind of get pulled into these conversations regardless. So I want to talk a little bit about what maybe is going on with your marketing and sort of how to diagnose it yourself. So that way you understand what you can do. And so it all starts really with the customer journey. And a lot of people, they go in and they go, oh, I'm going to diagnose this campaign. Before you do that, before you get to diagnosing like your campaign, think about the customer and what they're experiencing and seeing if it breaks along that chain. So, and here's why. When you are doing marketing, you often are going to be running multiple campaigns stacked on top of each other. And there's no way to completely ignore one stat for another. Like, it's rare that things exist in such a silo that they aren't having an effect. And arguably, if your marketing is so siloed off, well, then you aren't creating like a marketing funnel or a marketing stack in a way that I would recommend in the first place. But for the most part, what happens is there's influences that you got to think about along the way. So when a customer first hears of you, you got to think about, well, where did they hear of you? And why did they hear of you? And why are you running that campaign? Was it so they would hear of you, or were you looking for the lead down here? And then your other campaign over here picked them up and got them that last step, right? So a lot of times you have different campaigns that touch different people. And that's why, or the same person at different points. And that's why attribution is so convoluted. And we try and make it as clear as possible. But always start by going like, okay, we are running ads here in order for this objective. Then we're running ads here for this objective. And then we're running ads here for this objective. And these are other initiatives that may not even be advertising that help with this objective. And you want to sort of back up and go, all right, along that pathway, along that journey, where is maybe the leaks? Where are the leaks? And there are going to be leaks along your customer journey, and there are going to be leaks along each campaign. So to give you an idea, and there's a lot to this, but general world of a campaign. I actually have a graphic from a presentation that I'm going to pull up because it'll help me remember all of the things on here. So, okay, you start with your impressions, right? You are buying space somewhere, airtime, whatever you want to call it, for impressions. Then those are going to result in something, whether it is recall, which is brain, or it is clicks, which is finger click. But so then you end up saying, okay, I got this many impressions. My market is this size, which means my frequency should be this, because you should have reached whatever you want for that market for that campaign. Might not be your whole service area, by the way. Might just be a little chunk of it. And then your frequency, you can reverse engineer. And then you can go in and be like, well, okay, now I've got the first leg. Like, my ads are running and they are going to enough people in the right zone. That's good. Now you're getting clicks. Great. What if those clicks don't convert? Well, okay, did you get enough clicks for enough conversions? Or is there something wrong with the clicks, which tells you that there's something wrong with the ad, right? So you've got your ad creative. That's supposed to get you the clicks. But if the message doesn't fit, or if people bounce off after the click, you can start going and making these assumptions about what your content or what your advertising is actively doing, and then go in and patch those things up. And then you end up going, okay, well, if the ad and the clicks and the conversions are okay, well, then you're in good territory, usually. Now, you got to think about the rest of the journey, though. What kind of a conversion were you looking for? And was that a person who was like trying to get in on an offer that they won't actually redeem for months down the road? Is that a direct, like PPC would be like, we want direct action right now? Was it to get them to the landing page so that way you could retarget them on Google in order to hop them off of Facebook and follow them around on multiple platforms? Is that what you wanted to do? And so there's times where you would activate certain things at different zones. And they all, marketing, I think, is like a rising tide lifts all boats situation most of the time, if they are interconnected that way. But so first, customer journey. Second, go into each campaign and see if you've got leaks coming through. And there's different ways you can do that. You've got your CTRs, your click-through rates. You've got your conversion rates, and those should be percentages by which you're looking at. And you're going like, does this meet the thresholds that we want within our campaigns? And understanding that you have to take the data as it is and try and interpret it. Especially if you're just starting, you don't have a lot of historical data, and it gets really hard to know whether or not it gets hard to set a benchmark, right? So you got your industry standards, but your market might be different than industry standards, and you might have more competition than this guy over here. You might be in business 2 years instead of 20 years. All those things matter, because when it all comes down to it at the end, what are you trying to do? You're trying to get a person to do a thing. Whether that's call you, whether that's know of you, whether that's take you up on an offer, whatever. You're trying to get a person to do something. And when you try and get a person to do something, you're always going to have a bit of loss along the way. And that's normal. Not every click's going to convert, right? So, but then, okay, you've got your click, you've got your lead. That is your opportunity. Then you got to go, all right, now how many of them are closing? Now, why are they closing, or why aren't they closing? Are they closing because they're all wonderful leads? Is there loss in our leads? Are our calls different than they were before? Which they often are. If you aren't used to running advertising, when you start advertising, you will get more calls, and not all those calls will be the calls you want. And that's normal too, because the more you advertise, the more people you hit. So some people are going to call you for the wrong things. They might click on, bathroom plumbing repair, and they might want you to work on a shower door or a cabinet door. We can't keep you out of all that. So you kind of got to take the good with the bad and understand, well, this is the core of what's good, and how much does that cost to drive that to my business? So there's all of these things that sort of start adding up. But eventually you get down to, all right, cool, we closed these leads, we got these people, and then how much money do we make? And what is our benchmark for that, right? Return on ad spend is really what you drilled all that down into. So when you're sitting there and you're going like, my marketing doesn't work, often people aren't doing enough marketing, number one. Number two, they're looking at like, this thing isn't working. But for instance, your PPC usually performs better if you're running Facebook ads, or you're doing Google awareness, or you're doing YouTube, or you're really active in the community, because you have trust. And trust equals clicks sometimes when you're showing up on a list of, 10 different plumbers. If they recognize you, that works in your favor. So that is a bit about how to diagnose. And I get it. It's all over the map, right? But there's a lot of different places that you can jump in and start looking at campaigns. So anyway, I hope this gives you a little bit of context to the behind the scenes of running campaigns and sort of the marketing stack as you look at it. Because the strategy is always going to be a little bit different. You might be trying to go for a new market. You might be trying to nurture an existing one, whatever, right? Some of this is going to depend on your objective for your company, and you aren't going to have a one-to-one of another thing to look at and expect the same results. But if you put your best foot forward, and honestly, if you use some common sense when it comes to like the messaging and the way that you're approaching the market, you usually end up ahead. But you gotta be aware of the expectation and the reality. And then, sometimes, guess what? Marketing breaks. You got to go in and you got to fix something. That's part of the gig. Anyway, hope this helps. You have a good one.
Wanna grow your business? Here's the plan. Go to TylerWilliams.net and be the top in the land. Now, let me tell you the epic tale of how Tyler Williams became the marketing man. His story begins when he was just a year old lad. His mother needed a plumber, but their ads were so bad the house flooded and sank. And young Tyler was mad, swallowed by the earth, into the abyss they fell. He blamed the bad marketing that led them to this hell. At 1 year old he vowed to the stars above he'd harness marketing power and give plumbers some bad. The house flooded and sank. It's Tyler Williams, the marketing baby. From tragedy he rose to bring plumbers joy. With the bow in his stars and a plan in his hand, he's the one who'll save them, the marketing baby. he set out on a quest to find ancient secrets that would make him the best. He tamed Mammoth the Mammoth who rode the wilderness fast, fighting bland campaigns, leaving them in the past. In a glowing cave with light so bright, he found a dead wizard clutching tablets of light. For 30 long years he studied those stones, deciphering marketing secrets that shook him to his bones. He's Tyler Williams, the marketing boy, imbued with power, turning pain into joy. With a fire in his eyes and stone card campaigns, he brings plumbers the truth to ease their pains. 30 years later he emerged from the cave, riding Mammoth the Mammoth, a legend so brave. Back to Alaska with tablets in tow, he chiseled new ads ready to make them glow. His campaigns were epic, like discovering fire. Plumbers would soar, lifted ever higher. He hit the launch button, the world wasn't prepared. Neighborhoods flooded with jokes as Tyler declared. After 40 long years of learning marketing power, the baby became a boy, the boy became a man, and now Tyler Williams finally became a fabled marketing man. Yeah, he's Tyler Williams, the marketing man, bringing plumbers out of the Stone Age as fast as he can. With jokes and memes, he blankets the land. Soccer monsoon, it's all part of the plan. Now Tyler roams the world with boldness in mind, crafting campaigns that set everything right. He's bald, bearded, with glasses in place, laughs at his jokes, but they're never out of place. With a smile and a wink, he launches the show. His ads are dumb, but they make plumbers grow. He's the marketing man with campaigns so grand, bringing plumbers out of the Stone Age as he planned. So when you see Tyler, remember his quest. He's the marketing